Hi, I'm Carol Savage. I run a company called MyDish.co.uk.
Carol, good to see you this morning. Can you tell me a little bit more about MyDish?
Okay, MyDish is a community recipe website where we get people who come along to store and share their recipes. The whole concept behind MyDish started actually when my husband came back. His mum passed away, unfortunately, and he came back with a suitcase of her things, and in it were 2 scraps of paper. And I said to him, why have you got these? And he said, it just reminds me of being 11 years old, and it reminds me of my mum. One was banana bread and the other was lemon meringue pie. And I just thought, wow, that's quite compelling. You know, he's brought back, bits of jewellery and bits of pieces, but what was most special to him were these 2 scraps of paper. And I, at the time, thought, wouldn't it be brilliant if we could have some way of holding on to these and passing these on to our children? And I started talking to friends and family, and everyone said, oh, I've got a recipe that my grandmother made, or, so the stories that I've had have been fantastic. Like, one guy who I didn't know just said, my mum used to make me the most amazing French onion soup, which I used to have every week after I played rugby. So people had and have, recipes and great stories behind it, which are all, remind them of a time or a place or an event which they associate with the food and the smell.
Great stuff. I mean, so that was your main motivation for getting the business started. Any other things which sort of influenced you to get it going?
Well, no, at the time I wanted to try something, and I wanted to try something on the web, and to be honest with you, it was really serendipitous. I love that word, but it was it really was a way of just storing my husband's recipes, and at the same time my mum was typing out on an old typewriter the recipes she had for my sister's children. I've got boys and my sister's got girls, and she literally was typing them all out, putting them into a binder and photocopying them. And again, they kind of fade with time, and I just thought, with the 2 sort of sets of sort of generations above us, wouldn't it be great for other people to be able to not only tap into this, but for them to be able to pass their recipes on.
So fantastic. So, and what was your expectation for the business itself?
Well, it was really interesting because initially I thought it'd be great and people would pay for it, and I was completely wrong. And I think that's the fun thing about setting up businesses. I love starting businesses and just kind of starting with an idea and then kind of playing with it. And we found very quickly that, there was so much out there on the web. You can go onto BBC, you can go onto Jamie Oliver, you can go onto Waitrose, and of course people don't pay for it. So, my thought was, well, people will love the service and they can drive it together. So first philosophy was very mistaken, and we had to move on very quickly. And what we did do was we realised that we weren't going to have enough marketing money to be able to get out there on television and tell everybody about it. So we had to be really clever about it. So we created software that enabled people to make their own recipe books. And I describe it to people like the sort of iTunes of recipe books. So you can go on if you like baking, or if you like curries, or if you just want all your mum's recipes in one book, you can create your one recipe book. And we've moved on to recipe calendars as well. And the interesting thing about that was, one, trying to get people to be able to pay for the sort of gift element of it. So, imagine that you go to a wedding and you get all the guests to kind of give a recipe and then provide it as a book, like a photo book. So that was one way that we were going to try and make some money out of it. But also we wanted to bring in consumers, and felt that it'd be a really good way to get communities like schools and charities to benefit by them being able to raise funds, buy the books, and us to be able to get a bigger collection of recipes and users on our site.
Fantastic. And there must have been some financing involved.
Oh no, we had to.
Where did your finance come from?
Oh, we definitely needed finance to set it up. I mean, when it started with the initial idea, I put in a little bit of money, and my dad put in a little bit of money, and I went to my old tutor and past sort of investor of a previous company from London Business School, John Bates, and I'd given him 10 different business plans, and he just kept saying, go away, go away. And with MyDish, he said, I love it. I love the whole concept of it. And, if we could get the financing right, he'll be my chairman. So we put in £50,000 from initial seed money. Of course, we needed to get finance going. At the moment, the way the business is financed is through investment funding rather than through revenue. What we were able to do with the £50,000 was set up the website and the software for the book, and literally pull together a proof of concept. And with that, we were able to make 2 corporate sales as well. Actually, one before we got the investment, to BT, so that we were providing MyDish platform, the whole kind of bringing together, sharing of recipes for their staff.
Got you. Fantastic.
The reason, and they basically paid us some money, so we got a bit of license fee in there. But the benefit for BT, the nice thing about it, is that lots of companies talk about diversity and trying to understand your colleagues and working better with your colleagues.
Sure, yeah.
What better way than trying to, find out that the person sitting next to you or your boss makes the best curry and you're trying it, and you go home and you're able to talk about things. It brings people on a very sort of single level.
I can see that. So you got yourself established. What's your final question? Is what's your expectation for the future?
I want to be the most popular food networking site in the UK. This is very different to Jamie Oliver and or Waitrose or BBC, because this is recipes for the people, by the people. And so what we have is, at the moment, 4,000 members and over 3,000 recipes, and it's all homemade, tried and tested. So at the moment, we've got fantastic Christmas recipes, for instance. And what I want to do is just build on that collection, because as people are starting to know about MyDish, all of a sudden you get somebody coming on and putting 35 recipes on.
Amazing.
So we want it to be the most popular website for food and drink in the UK.
Carol, that's fantastic, and good luck with it.
Thank you.